Salute, Mob Tube. How's everybody doing today? All right, let's get started. I'm a little aggravated today, guys. I got to be honest. Not in the greatest mood, but I'm going to do my best for you guys. We got a whopping 9 people in here right now, which is not surprising. It's an addiction recovery show, and it's a Wednesday afternoon. So it'll take a while, but we'll get our usual 90 or 100. Dave, Miss Can't Be Wrong, Sally, Addie's mom, Tom Sheehy, Paul Atkinson, Tatone, Michael Scola Sr., Joe Root, Lucky Luciano, Robert B., Gamecock Jenny, salute. Wow. All right, that's enough. Good. I'm glad I did the shout outs early. This way I don't have many to do. But I'll shout some people out as they come in. So, guys, we will talk addiction and recovery today. It is Wednesday. Like I said, I like to try to do these Wednesday and Friday afternoons, but sometimes my schedule doesn't allow it. Very busy. But today it worked out, so hopefully we'll have a good one. Michael Hensley, we love you too, bro. Where the hell has Tony Ducks been? I haven't seen him in a while. Tonight, guys, we're going to have a lot to talk about. A lot. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Ken Lynn, how you doing? Let's see, 30 people. All right, we're getting there. Midnight Blue, hello. Oh, it'll get better, Midnight Blue. It'll get better. Just minor aggravations, There's Rusty going insane. I don't know why. Let me check the camera. Hang on. He's barking at the front door. Yeah. Amazon truck. Good job, Rusty. Going apeshit over an Amazon truck. That's my dog. I love him. Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, I feel like he hasn't been around. Yeah, he's about to. He thinks. I told you, Rusty is very sensitive to anything he hears. He goes berserk. Anything, no matter where it is. I told you, I have this guy that lives across the street from me. Big ass, redneck truck with the loud fucking exhaust. Every single time he comes home or leaves, and Rusty hears that engine, goes insane. I don't think he understands that it's not a person. There's a person in there, but that's not who you're barking at. Edward Everett. So, guys, let me just start off by telling you, and I know, you're here to hear about addiction and recovery and not my, issues. But usually I sleep pretty well. Thanks to the medications I'm on and stuff, I sleep pretty well. I usually get 7 hours. I might wake up once or twice, no big deal. Last night, should I say this morning, I woke up so many times, literally every hour on the hour. I was ready to lose my shit. I didn't know what to do. It's one of the reasons I'm aggravated today. I can't stand that. There's nothing worse than not getting a good night's sleep. Actually, there's a lot worse, but it sucks. Tony validated pizza. Oh, Tony validated. Everyone owes me $3,000 now that I am validated. Don Berlin, what's up, bro? Yeah, that sounds just like Tony. Oh, really, Gamecock Jenny? So it's not just Rusty? I never had a dog do that before. I always had pit bulls. And I never had a dog just bark at machinery and cars and just weird shit, And my stepson gets home every day at the same time. Every day at the same time. And sometimes I forget, to leave the door unlocked for him. And like you would think Rusty would know. Same time every day, same door, always the same person. But nope. Like today, I forgot. And I was on my way downstairs anyway. My stepson knocked on the fucking door. Braden went ballistic. I'm sorry. Rusty went ballistic. Ballistic. He went ape shit. Barking, jumping up and down, running all over the place. It's like, Rusty, you do realize that it never changes. It's always Braden, right? You do realize that. I talk to him like he's a human being. You know what time he comes home. You have to. Dogs are smart. Why are you doing this? And then he just looks at me like with his head cocked to the side. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I am talking to a dog, so maybe I shouldn't be. I shouldn't expect too much, you know. I shouldn't be disappointed when something like this happens. Rusty does just bad nerves, terrible. Oh, really, Game Cock Jenny? Interesting. Don Berlin, folks, break. And my apologies for this horrific self-promotion, but try to catch Jimmy's new show format every Sunday. Let's see. You could put the rest in here too, because you sent me a whole script and I don't know if I'm going to read it exactly the way you'd want me to. It's a good pitch though. It's called Jimmy Calandra and Friends with co-host yours truly. Yes, Don Berlin will be the co-host. Two completely different personalities on one show. Very interesting. I've watched as much as I could of both episodes so far, and they've been fantastic. Fantastic. Let me see this. Hold on. Don Berlin, the word after journey. I'm not sure I understand. Not sure I understand. Whatever you need me to do, Don. So let's go. Let's get it started. All right, with the addiction and recovery. The other day, and I wish I would have put it up. I guess I could share it on the screen if I decide to. Um, See, let me explain first of all. Again, I don't know what I'm doing here. I just like to talk to you guys who have shared similar experiences with me throughout your addictions, and get your take on things and discuss it and give people some support and get support from them and everything else. Okay, this is not no professional addiction recovery show. Most of it is my stories and my life, the shit I've been through, whatever you guys want to talk about. Every now and then, like once in a blue moon, somebody shares. And I'm talking about probably 100 episodes, and I'd say 3 people shared, if that. So it doesn't happen often. So I am left to my own devices. I don't know what to do. But I am going to talk about this, okay? And I don't know if you guys care, so that's why I didn't put the pictures in my overlay for you guys to see. Like I said, I could share it. I've shown you a few pictures before of the rehab I was in. But the other day, I don't know why, but I Googled it. Clarity Way, Hanover, PA, right? And I never found, I guess for some reason, I don't know, maybe I never went on the website before, but the homepage is just probably, I don't know, I'd say at least a dozen or so pictures of Clarity Way. And it shows all the different rooms. It shows the meditation room, the yoga room, the gym, the little area where the pool tables and the little movie theater area are. It shows the massage room, because yes, you get deep tissue massages once a week at that rehab, and from a very, very attractive woman, by the way. I can't remember her name, but smoking hot. So that was a plus, But as I was looking through these pictures, I was like, man, this is Like, this was such a gift. Like, guys, I've told you before, I don't think if I didn't end up exactly where I did, I don't think that I would be where I am today. As a matter of fact, I can almost get, well, first of all, there's no way I'd be exactly where I am today, like in this house in Wrightsville, and because I would have never met Shanna. Okay. She was the nurse at Clarity Way, or, well, one of many, and I would have never met her. But not just that, man. This no handy at the end though. No Joe Bag of Donuts. I was hoping for one, but no, unfortunately not. Um, these other rehabs, you know, I've never been to rehab other than this one ever in my life. But I heard about them, and I heard there's just some of them are terrible, you know, and you don't get your phone, you don't get. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not discouraging anybody. If it's going to save your life, who cares where the fuck you go? It doesn't matter. I'm just saying because of my um I'm a stubborn motherfucker. Okay, I'm crazy stubborn. So you know, if I went in there and they started giving me a bunch of rules and you can't have this, you can't have that, I probably would have walked out the door. But this place wasn't like that. So I am so fucking grateful for my time there. You have no idea. I mean, if I could have, I would have stayed for 3 months. And trust me, I tried, but insurance was not having it. They were not having it. I don't think they wanted to pay what would have been $165,000 for 3 months. Yeah, they weren't down for that, you know? So I didn't get to, but the experiences I had there. And then I looked through their the list of, I guess you could say, services they offer. Not so much services, but groups, different things like that. And one of them is psychodrama. Okay, now I know that sounds crazy. That sounds like mob too. It's a bunch of psychodrama, but no, that's not what it is. Psychodrama is crazy. It's like you have like the way they'll do it. Somebody in the room, maybe the counselor, will act as a producer, and he will give you your assignment, what you have to do, something like that. And in my case, I believe it was I had to have a conversation with my mother. Okay, or no. Let me rephrase that. I had to act as my mother talking to me, and there was another person that they had play me. So I had to uh, talk to myself, you know, as my mother. You see what I'm saying? But I had to say things that I think my mother felt, things that she would express to me if we sat down and had a long conversation about my addiction from beginning to end. All the things that went through her head, the worries, the concerns, all that stuff. Um, and it was not easy. Let me tell you, it was a bit of a tearjerker for everyone. For everyone who did it, everyone in the group had to do it. And it was an amazing fucking experience because the whole point of it is for you to see through the eyes of the people who had to deal with you and your fucking addiction and feel the pain that they felt, you know? So it's like acting, you know, and it's not comfortable because you're surrounded by people and you have to talk to yourself, so to speak, as a loved one who watched you go through all of this. Now I picked my mother only because who else was there, you know, throughout my life from beginning to end. You know, I didn't even pick a girlfriend or anything. I even though I had long-term relationships, I decided to pick her because I know that she's the person I put through the most hell in my addiction. So that was one exercise that I'll tell you what, it took a lot out of you. And watching other people do it too. You know, there was other things they would do. I remember one day they had this kid Kyle. This kid was amazing, man. He was a DJ. He was a music producer. He was a music teacher in upstate New York. I think he was there because he had a DUI accident that he caused, and I think he killed a couple of people. Honestly, when he was leaving there, he was going away for a long time, but he went there anyway. He was loaded. I mean, he would pay he stayed for a couple of months and he would pay in cash. No lie. You know, and it was fucking 55,000 a month. Anyway, this dude, what they had him do, they had him pretend he was out of rehab and he was clean and sober, but he was a young guy. This is why they had him do this. He was a young guy. He was in his, maybe 28, you know, and he was a DJ. He was a musician. Like I said, he was a producer. He was heavily involved in the party scene, the club scene. And the counselors saw it the same way I saw it, because I remember when he was on his coin out day, I said to him, like, bro, you got a tough road ahead of you if you're going to continue to be a DJ. Trust me. I had to quit DJing because of my addiction and stuff. I said, I'm not telling you to do that, but you got to have some type of plan. You're going to be in nightclubs all night, and you plan on staying clean and sober. So anyway, because of all those things, his assignment was to play himself at a party, clean and sober. And then all the other people in the group had to act as other party goers, and of course, some of them had to walk up to him and say, "Hey, yo, bro, Kyle, listen, I got some blow. You want to go do a line in the bathroom, whatever? I got bro, why don't you have a drink? Stuff like that." And he had to talk as if he's in that situation and basically give the answers he thinks he would give in a situation like that, where he's clean and sober and he's kind of being peer pressured. That was interesting too. A lot of good stuff that you learn in rehab. And trust me, Shanna's worked in a ton of rehab. So I know that even though you're not going to find in an average rehab the type of comfortable situation I had in the one I was in, you'll get this type of, this type of stuff, this type of group and, exercises, I guess you could say, that they make you do. You'll have different types of groups. I'm just talking to anybody who's never been to rehab. Of course, you'll have things like AA meetings if you want to attend. Now, some rehabs might make you, I don't know. My rehab had AA, Refuge, and I don't remember what else. And you could, you were allowed to skip or just basically opt out of certain groups or classes, but there was only so many. It was like one a week, like it had to be the same one. You know what I mean? And like you could pick one, and that was basically for your entire stay, or you could pick one a week, or it just depended. It could just be that your time. Maybe you want to be fucking doing something else at a certain time in the rehab. So you skip a class, but you can do it also. So that, like me, I picked AA. I'm not attending AA. Period. This entire stay, and I was allowed to do that. So sorry if I didn't explain it the best a minute ago. It was not like a requirement, but you could either pick it, that you're going to skip it the whole time. You could just skip it for a week. You could, and I think it was 1 or 2 classes. Now we had like 10, 11 classes a day, and I'm not exaggerating. It was a busy fucking day. I mean, I would get up at 6:30 in the morning. The first fucking group was at 8:00. And then you, around lunchtime, you obviously you go get lunch, whatever, you come back. And then you have a few more groups. Then they give you a break for like an hour or 2. And we would just go in the pool. It was June and July, you know what I mean? So we'd just go swim in the pool and hang out. Then you got to go back and do some more classes. So it was a busy day, but you were allowed to opt out of a certain amount of classes, either each week or, for your entire stay. And I attended some Refuge stuff. I actually liked that, but I refused to attend AA. But all that other stuff like psychodrama, and there's a bunch of different ones. Does anybody know Don Berlin? I bet you know. There's there's this one, it's crazy. I can't remember what it's called. Some type of therapy where you go in a room. It's usually like an office, somebody's office, very nice, comfortable, quiet room. And you sit on a big, like in the office I was always in, a big plush leather fucking chair, office chair. And you just sit there, and the counselor will put these things on your ears, these little clips that vibrate. Okay. And then they'll tell you to put your earbuds in and pick any music you want. Any music you want. Now, I had my phone with me that was filled with all types of different stuff. I told you my playlist is insane. I have every type of music except for country. I'll never listen to country in my motherfucking life, no matter what. So uh, I would just put I before the class I would make a playlist. I think it was a half an hour each time. So I would make a playlist, and then I'd put my earbuds in. They'd put these things on my ears, and they'd put a big heated, weighted blanket on me, very heavy heated blanket over me, and all I had to do was sit there with my eyes closed and listen to music while these things were on my fucking ears. No kidding. Does anybody come on, Don? Don't let me down. You better text Kimberley real quick. What the fuck is that called? What is it called? I feel like it's initials. Let me see real quick, guys. It's bugging me. But it was supposed to do something, change your brain chemistry over time. I don't know, the way you think, the way you process thoughts, some crazy shit like that. Who knows if it's real or if it's just some new age horse shit. I don't know. But Kimberley does that kind of work, and it involves music and sensory perception, which allows you removal from stress. Yes. What is it called? I can't fucking find it. I can't find it. It's not ASMR. I believe it's 3 initials or something. Some sort of therapy. I can't remember. Shanna's sleeping from work last night, so I can't ask her. Let me see something, guys. Let me share with you here. Oh, I'm in the wrong fucking place. I gotta. New window. Hold on. There it is. I don't know if I can show this to you guys because I opened it up in a new window. And I have no idea what I'm doing with this fucking computer, as you know. Let me see. There we go. Can you guys see that? Let me just see what it looks like. How do I do this? All right. Okay, you guys can see it. All right, let me go back to that. So this is some pictures. This right here is obviously like the dining area. This is the kitchen. Fucking beautiful kitchen. You see this shit? This is an example of what lunch is like every day, but that's a poor example because we ate very rich, very healthy, good foods. Stuff like this was just maybe for like a lunch. And even that, not really, because the chef cooked for the lunches. So I'm not sure why they have a picture of pizza and shit. But this right here, if you can see this leather couch, you see these 2 doors right back here? This is my room. That's where I was staying, right there. That was my room. This was kind of like the hallway entrance area right there. This was basically just a room for anybody who wanted to use a computer, and the internet. Even though you're allowed to have your phones, laptops, whatever, some people didn't. So this desk right here had a computer where everybody could use the internet, whatever. As you can see, that's another picture of it right there. See the woman using the computer? This is the little pool area. Pool table area. And this couch faces a pretty big fucking TV that's mounted on the wall, and there's a whole fucking uh, a bunch of cabinets full of DVDs and any types of movies you want to watch, whatever. So it was like a little movie room. This, I believe, is a hallway to, I'm not sure what. I don't remember. This is the massage room. This area, I believe, is actually there's a separate house for the really rich people. It's like $75,000 a month to get a room in there. And I believe that's where that is. This is the gym. This is the music room, drums, piano, guitars, any type of a brass instrument. They had it all. This is the art room. This is an example of what one of the bedrooms looks like. Right here. Balcony, facing the woods. Big bed, little tables. You have a private bathroom. This is a sitting area in that house I told you about. I believe this is in that house too. The house is separate. It was down the hill. I only spent a little bit of time in there when I went back for like a big Thanksgiving reunion thing. This is also in that house. I think this might be too. This was part of where I was though. The staircase and that balcony. Those obviously those rooms open up to a balcony. Tennis court. That's the pool I swam in every fucking day for 3 weeks. That's the entrance to the house I'm talking about right here. This is the view. Right here, that's the view. And this is the yoga room. They don't have like the pictures of some. Well, I think the yoga room. I think that might be where we did meditation and tai chi and stuff. Right here. But I'll show you the different things. Clarity Way Rehab's holistic addiction treatment program merges traditional and complementary approaches to heal the physical, mental, and spiritual wounds of substance abuse. Our caring, experienced team provides a range of treatments designed to nurture the whole person. Available therapies are based on clinical need and length of stay. So you see 12-step groups, art therapy program, couples counseling program, EDMR therapy. Let me see if that's it. Nope, that's an eye movement thing. Motherfucker. Group therapy, massage therapy program. Everybody loved that. Motivational interviewing therapy program, pain management, relapse prevention, acupuncture therapy. Oh, yes, they had acupuncture too there, but you had to pay a little more. I think it was like $75 per treatment or whatever. Cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, family therapy program, and individual therapy program, mindfulness, meditation, recovery. See, this list right here would make Lee Cole's head explode if he had to read these words. Psychodrama therapy program, stress management therapy, and yoga therapy. So, and I think that's just some of it, let me see if it says over here. Nah, it doesn't say. Yeah, they grief counseling too. Bunch of stuff. So I'm sure with you guys looking at this, you can understand why most people would pay to go there just as a vacation, like as a resort, you know? So let me get back to StreamYard. All right, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Hopefully it didn't bore the fuck out of you. What do you know about eating buffets? Let me see. What are you guys talking about? FBS, I think you would be wonderful doing something with addiction recovery, like buying a property and doing sober living. There are grants for that. You know what, Miss Can't Be Wrong? I would absolutely love it. Something like that is a dream. It would be a dream to me. Nice place. Thanks, Gunsmoke. Yeah, it was great. It's a neurodiversity therapy. Oh, okay. I don't remember what it's called. But Kimberly's here. Thank you for being here, Kimberly. Looks like country club living to me. I went to rehab in downtown Newark, Jersey at Integrity House Dealers right in the street in a high crime neighborhood. Now, this place was in the middle of fucking nowhere. But the funny part is it was only, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes from where like my old apartment in New York City and that fucking bitch ass hotel. So, well, maybe 45 minutes, something like that. Whereas all the other patients, except for one woman, Laurie, she lived in Lancaster County. Everyone else there was from New York, New Jersey, Florida, different places. I think there was somebody from Virginia there, Maryland. People from all over would go there. People from all over. I might have to relapse so I can go there. That's not a really funny joke to tone, but yeah. Shauna used to say, she was the nurse. She used to say, I would pay to stay here just as a vacation. You know what I mean? I would pay. It was beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful. Let me read some comments. What up, Gunsmoke? I can't believe Gunsmoke's here for an addiction recovery show. What the fuck? Don Berlin said, yo, GS Chris, how done be the ghetto? Fucking Gunsmoke, always survive in the ghetto. Tom Sheehy, are you okay, bro? What's wrong? Oh, your dog's having an issue? Oh, fuck. That's no good, bro. Sorry to hear that. A lot of dog talk. This can't be wrong. The first rehab my brother went to was religious based. They wanted him to work. He wasn't having it. Going through withdrawals. He threw a fit. Managed to stay a few months, but was right back at it. Yeah, the thing about Clarity Way, and that's another reason it was, good for me, is there was none of that religious stuff. None, except for AA. I don't care what anybody says. It's a recruitment tool for the church. It's Christian based. I want no part of it. And then you could be like junkie. Well, maybe I should. Johnny Mack, his rehab, I believe, was Scientology based. And there's a lot of them. Do you know how many rehabs across America the Church of Scientology owns? Why do you think that is? Because they just care about people with addiction? No, it's to turn people into Scientologists. And yeah, that's the good thing about where I went. Now that place I just showed you is closed. Unfortunately, it made me very sad. About maybe a year and a half after I left there, it closed permanently. Which, yeah, it did. It broke my heart because what a wonderful place. And a lot of the good people there had been there numerous times. I'd say my best friend in that place was a man named Greg. Greg was a multi-fucking millionaire, Wall Street stockbroker for 45 years, had pictures with Trump golfing at dinner. Everything was, that level rich. He told me one year. I asked him what his worst year was, and he said, I believe I forget he told me the amount he made for the firm, and he got 10% of that, and or no, it wasn't 10%, 1%. I don't know what the fuck. What doesn't matter, but it was 10 million fucking dollars. That was his worst year on Wall Street. I said, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. It wasn't 10. It wasn't 10% because that would make it 100 million, and it was way more than that. I think it might have been 1%. But yeah, he wound up with 10 million fucking dollars. Of course, I could have that all screwed up. I just know the amount was correct, and he fucking. I think he was a hedge fund. What do you call it? Hedge fund. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff. But he ran a hedge funds for a huge firm on Wall Street or whatever, and he got a percentage of what he made for them. So I could have the percentages all fucked up. I just know it was that much. That's how much money this dude had, and he was a great guy, but he was an alcoholic. He was a very heavy drinker. And he had been in that rehab. I think when I met him there, it was his third time there over a period of like 6 or 7 years. Now, he wasn't there because he wanted to be. He was there because his wife insisted, and his friends and family. The guy, still till this day, he has a charity in his name, just like the Trump, whatever that was called, and the Clinton Foundation, whatever the fuck. He had one of those, and he still does. He runs it, I believe. And every year he gives a bunch of money to kids for scholarships and shit like that. He was a good man. Good man. I love that dude. He was maybe 60 something years old, and 60, 65, 66. I'm not sure. But we had a hell of a friendship, and he had been there, 3 times. It's the only place he would go in the country, and unfortunately, it closed. So it made me think about him because, unfortunately, I'm not still in touch with him. I'll tell you the truth. I think something happened with his wife. I'm not going to get into it, but I don't think his wife wanted him keeping contact with anybody from that place. Because somebody else I talked to is another very wealthy person who lives in Long Island. Her name was Elaine. She told me the same thing, that she all of a sudden wasn't able to get a hold of him. But I talked to him for a while after, and the last time I talked to him, he told me he had relapsed over Christmas. So, but they all did for the most part. Anyway, I love that fucking place, man. I have wonderful memories there. Wonderful. Confrontation therapy, which allow you to confront different triggers and slippery spots in treatment so you could face them in reality. Is that what that psychodrama is, basically? No, that's different. Yeah, that's different. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember hearing about that. Kimberley does that kind of work, and it involves music and so. Oh, that's that I read earlier. See how far back I went. Let's see. I want to see what Kimberly's saying and everyone else. Yeah, Miss Can't Be Wrong was amazing. Midnight Blue. Well, yeah. See, the thing is, I had a union job. I talked about it before. I was working in that motorcycle factory. It was a union job. Um, so the insurance, at first, they agreed to pay for the first 7 days, basically a detox. That's all they were going to pay for. But once I got in there, and they found out about certain health issues I had and all that stuff, the doctor started fighting with the insurance company and telling them that I need to be there longer. So it was like every few fucking days they had to fight with the insurance company to pay for a few more days. And I think once we got up to 21 days, the insurance said that's it. He's out on a certain date. I think it was June 10th or something like that. Yeah, that's it. He's out. So that was heartbreaking. But my union wanted to pay for me to go. Now, this is how expensive this Clarity Way is. Like I said, it's $55,000 a month. Rather than keeping me there, my union wanted to fucking send me to, I can't remember if it was Florida or California. They wanted to fly me there and put me in a rehab for 30, I think it was either 30, 60 days, something like that. Because it would have been so much cheaper than the place I was at. And I wasn't willing to do that. You know what I mean? I knew by the time I left Clarity Way that I was good. I really did. I really did. I went through so much in there, so much thinking and learning. And I made so many awesome friendships and met so many good people. And I was truly grateful for my experience. And that alone will make you never want to use again. Because if I can say that this beautiful place that I loved being at, and I had, such a short stay at, not only kept me clean and sober forever, but was also the place where I met my beautiful wife. I mean, I wouldn't even want to fuck up that memory. It would be one of the worst things about relapsing for me, is that I had that wonderful experience that most addicts would kill for, and would probably become clean and sober if they were able to go to a place like that. I would hate to fuck up after I was given such a gift of being able to go, because it was a total fluke, Midnight Blue. I woke up one day. Most of the people in here know the story. It was a terrible situation. I was very, very sick from alcohol withdrawal and everything else. I had been on a 4-day binge with coke and alcohol. I woke up with a girl that I never met in my life. She said we spent the last 4 days together. She had to fill me in on shit. I realized I called off 4 fucking days in a row, so I basically missed a week of work. Um, it was insane. I woke up, there's pizza boxes, there's liquor, there's fucking, she's got a coffee pot in a fucking sink. She's cooking crack in a fucking coffee pot with my coke, all types of crazy shit. And I just said, fuck this. That's it. I got to get help today or I'm going to die today. One or the other has to happen. So I called crisis intervention and they called me back. They were going to actually send me to a place that's right here in this town. And mind you, I never even saw this town before I met Shanna. I heard of Wrightsville. I didn't know, you know what I mean? I was in New York City. I didn't go to places like this. I had no reason to. But they were going to send me to a place in this very town. And from what I hear, I'm very lucky that that's not where I went. But that was the plan. A couple hours later, the crisis intervention guy calls me back and he goes, "Listen, I got bad news and good news." I said, "What?" He said, "That place we're going to send you, turns out they don't have a bed, but there is a place that does." And he said, "Chris, I'm telling you, you hit the jackpot here. You can't screw this up." And I said, "What are you talking about? What do you mean I hit the jackpot?" He said, "You'll see when you get there. You're going to love it. But you got to be there by midnight." And I said, "All right." Now, there was a guy down the hall who owed me a couple of $100 uh, in the hotel down the hall. He owed me a couple of $100, and I was not going to rehab without that fucking money. I wanted to wrap things up and go and have a clear conscience. Plus, I wanted to have, or a clear head, I should say. I wanted to have that fucking money, as much money as I could. I wanted to have it in fucking rehab. You know what I mean? So I waited for him. And he wound up getting to me at about maybe 10 after 12, right after midnight. He gave me the money. And that's when I went. I went to rehab and I got there around 1 in the morning and it was all good. They welcomed me in. They did my intake. They showed me my room. I went to sleep. The next day they woke me up. They said, "Chris, we got lunch out here." I went out. It was a beautiful fucking spread. I mean, I was like, oh, and I was finally like sober and I'm looking around and I'm like, what the fuck? Where the fuck am I? I thought I woke up in a fucking palace. I'm like, Jesus, fuck. Marble countertops and fucking rich people everywhere. I'm looking at this woman, Dawn's fucking wedding ring. She has a fucking rock the size of Mount Everest on her fucking her ring finger. I'm like, holy fuck, bro. I see the pool outside and the fucking kitchen, and I'm like, what? What? Then, of course, what happens a couple hours later? Now, when I left that hotel, and by the way, Midnight Blue, what happened is, in case you don't know, while I was there, um, the first nurse I think I ever dealt with, she took my blood and she was like bending over me. She was, and her name tag was um, hanging right in my face, and I saw the name, Shanna, and her last name. And I just, listen, I was, I guess you could say I was at the very least attracted to Shanna. So I went out and there was this kid, Mark, young kid, 21 years old. And I said, "Bro, what do you think about that nurse in there?" And he gave me his opinion. He thought she was attractive as well. And I said, "Bro, watch. I'm going to wind up with that nurse. I guarantee you, I'm going to wind up with her." And that's what happened. After I got out of there, I found her on Facebook and I hit her up and I said, "Hey, would you like to go on a date?" We went on a date and boom, 9 months later, married. So, but anyway, so my first day at rehab, I have this beautiful lunch. I go outside to smoke a cigarette and I see this big, heavy set guy and he's wearing a gold presidential day and date Rolex. And I said, wow, this motherfucker looks loaded. And sure enough, who was that? That was Greg, the guy who basically became my best friend, and we had a conversation and stuff. While we're talking, I get a phone call because when I left the hotel, I told my brother and my mom, I need you guys to come clean out this room because all my shit is in here. And I only have it paid up for 2 more days. So tomorrow I need you guys to come clean out this room and take all, I got sneakers, I got jewelry, I got money in there, all types of shit. Well, I took the money with me. But I had all types of shit that I couldn't take to rehab. So the next day, my mom and brother call me while I'm sitting there having a conversation with Greg at rehab, and they tell me, bro, she robbed you. I said, what? The girl that I was with in the hotel, when I was leaving the hotel after Greg gave me, that dude, Greg, that down the hall gave me the money, a different Greg, by the way. One's white, one's black, one's a multimillionaire, the other one was a drug dealer in a hotel. Okay. So after he gave me that money, she was in the hallway just hanging out, the girl that I spent those 4 days with. And I'm like, I was wondering what the fuck was up with that. And she gave me a hug and she said, where are you going? And I told her, and she said, oh my God, you're so lucky. I know people that have gone there. It's amazing. You're going to love it. She gives me a hug and a kiss, whatever. And I leave. But I was very suspicious. So I double checked the fucking hotel door to make sure it was locked. The next day they call me, she robbed you. The room's empty. I said, what? I said, you're fucking with me, right? They were like, no, everything is gone. Literally everything. I said, okay, let me call you back. So I called this bitch. Okay. And I told her, I said, you think you could rob me, bitch? I said, I'll tell you what, you got an hour to be back at that hotel to meet my brother with all my shit, or I'm going to fucking kill you when I leave here. It's exactly what I told her. And she knew about me from the guy down the hall, so she did not waste any time. And she was back there, and my brother met her and got all my shit back. So, yeah, that's my crazy rehab story, man, And I couldn't be more grateful for it. I couldn't. And that's why I encourage anybody, listen, if you can't go to a rehab like that, and most people can't, just go to rehab, and just stay. No matter how bad you want to leave, just stay. If and especially people who've never been to any type of rehab, because you never know what you might learn, who you might meet. Look at my story. If my story isn't inspirational, I don't know what story is. People could say what they want about me, but I made the choice to turn my life around at that very moment, and I did. And I guess as good karma, not only did I have a wonderful experience at a beautiful rehab, but I also made some very, very good friends. Some of them I believe will be lifelong friends, and I met the love of my life. Maybe that was good karma for me making the right choice. And now I am where I am today. And some people that ain't shit, some people it's a big deal. But to me, it's a big deal considering where I was 4 years ago. So when I talk about gratitude, guys, it's not like I don't practice what I preach. Why do you think I looked at the Clarity website, the Clarity Way website the other day? I don't remember exactly, but most likely I just wanted to be reminded. I wanted to reminisce a little bit. And it really was an amazing experience I will never forget. Never forget. I don't know. You guys are talking cancer all time. I hope everybody's okay. Oh, you want me to drop the link for Kimberley? Oh my God, guys, I'm so behind in the chat. I'm so sorry. I think I might relapse to try to get into this place. What's it called? Clarity Way? Yeah, it's gone. There is a new place there now, though, that opened up, a new rehab. Somebody told me the name. One of the people I was in there in Clarity Way with, I was on the phone with. I think it was the lady Elaine. She told me the name of the new place. I don't remember. Just Google Rehabs Hanover, PA. Bro, I said it too, wise guy. There was a couple of months after I left there, I said, just joking to Shanna, I might relapse or just fake a relapse just so I can go back there. It's an amazing fucking place. But I don't know. I'm assuming the place that's there now, I mean, I'm sure it's the same. I don't think they changed the building, the rooms, anything. It's probably another luxury rehab, but do not relapse to go there, Wise Guy TV. It's not worth it. It's not. Just look for a resort that you think is equal and take a vacation. All right, I'll drop the link. I'm so sorry, Don and Kimberly. I was so fucking far behind in the chats. I didn't even see. You guys, both of you, are welcome on here anytime, anytime. So I just dropped the link. Oh, Miss Can't Be Wrong texted me, son of a bitch. I got my fucking ringer off as always. Neurodiversity therapy. Thank you, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Okay. The fuck is that? All right, I gotta get back to this other thing. Very confused by something I just got on WhatsApp. Are you talking to me, wise guy? Yeah, no, I know, bro. I'm chilling. But yeah, bro, I worked with this kid Ryan, man. When I worked at the cookie factory, which by the way, that's like no joke. That it's literally the place that makes animal fucking crackers. There was a kid named Ryan. One day I see him going through like this catalog of rehabs. And I said, "Bro, what are you doing?" And he said, "Do you know that if you tell them you have an addiction, they can't fire you and they will pay to send you to rehab?" I said, "Yeah, but you don't have an addiction." He said, "They don't know that." So he was looking for a paid vacation at a rehab. He was trying to find the nicest one. Look, Kimberly is back here cracking.
Funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. How you doing, Kimberly? It's good to see you.
I'm doing well. Hello, everybody. Hi. Oh, that's
I am so sorry to have made you wait. I
oh,
would never make you wait. I just didn't even see in the
oh,
chat.
for sure. No, no worries at all. It was a long day, and I appreciated the break. So it's been crazy over here. So
Yeah,
in the biz, right? So
I'm
how are
sure.
you? I love your story about the rehab. This is great.
I'm glad. I hope people are enjoying it. I've told it before, but it's one of those things I repeat because it means so much to me, Kim. You know what I mean? Like it was such a wonderful experience. It really was.
But what a blessing. I mean, when you think of it, what a blessing to be able to go to treatment, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I,
and
I I was literally a guy living in a hotel selling cocaine and crack, doing cocaine, drinking every fucking day, going to work at a factory, third shift, building motorcycles, and somehow I landed there. And my mom said to me when she came there, because you on weekends you could have your family come for a big brunch every
that's right.
Saturday and Sunday. And my mom came the first time for brunch and saw the place, and she said, "Only you, Chris." Only you."
You fell
Exactly what she's.
out of the dark into a vat of butter.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Yeah.
How wonderful. But it's so sad that it's not there anymore because it sounded like really was wonderful. Anyway,
It
um,
was owned by Promises. Promises
yeah,
Malibu. You ever see the
yeah,
commercials? It was owned by
know
them.
them well. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's all they are basically is a string of luxury rehabs.
Yeah, and usually for the rich and famous, and so because they have security set up and what have you. The same is true for the Meadows in Arizona. A
Yeah.
lot of very famous, celebrities go there because they have the security set up so that they can, just focus on their treatment. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, they told me when I was there that there was many actors and NFL stars and stuff that were in there, but they would not tell me who. They can't. You know what I mean? They hinted around though. They said one was a producer of the biggest television show ever. So I'm thinking, okay, that's either Friends or Seinfeld.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? You know me. I'm trying to dissect it in my head, like figure it out. Okay, put the pieces of the puzzle together. Who could it have been?
Funny. That is
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. So yeah, so I answered the question earlier. Before, I don't know if you caught it, but it's NVT therapy, neurodivergent therapy is what they gave you, and the clips stimulate your ears have amazing nerve endings that then correspond to other parts of your brain. And
Hmm.
in fact, if you ever wanted to quit smoking, you could go to an acupuncturist and they would put the needles around your ear,
Uh-huh.
and uh, 2 or 3 sessions, and that would be it. You wouldn't want to smoke anymore. They use,
Really?
yeah, they use it's acutherapy, so acupuncture therapy, and they use it also for alcoholism and for other addictions, because there are these senses that we have here. And don't ask me because I'm not a specialist on that, but I know people who actually do it. And so it corresponds to particular areas of our brain that seek to, pleasure, and it calms it all down. So when they put the clips on your ears, it was a calming. And then a client of mine has one of these weighted blankets.
Hmm.
She swears by it for
Yeah.
stressing and for trauma, particularly for trauma response. So she uses it now every day. She got herself a solar weighted blanket. So it does not even electric. There are no cords, nothing. It just takes the sun in and then does what it does. And she said it's remarkable because she'll just close her eyes, listen to soft music or silence or what have you. And, 10 minutes later, and she's like in the zone.
Yeah, I never quite understood the point of it. They told me it was something to do with your brain chemistry, the way you think. I don't know, but they would just tell me to put my earbuds in. They'd put the things on my ears, the weighted blanket on me, and then they would just leave me for a half hour in the dark.
Uh,
And I
and
and
it's
it was the most relaxing thing. I will say that,
you.
incredibly relaxing.
And have you ever tried a oh God, what's it called? Uh, it's a tank and a flotation tank.
Oh,
Have you ever tried?
oh yeah. No, I've heard about it. I've heard
Oh
about it.
my God, that is the fastest way to go to the edge of the universe without trying.
Really?
Yes, I've done it and several times, and I love it. In fact, a colleague of mine has one in her home. So
Wow.
yeah, and she just so it's not very deep. It's only about maybe that deep, and
Yeah.
it's high intensity salt water, and it's maintained at exactly your body temperature. So, and then it's sort of like in a like an igloo, if you will, and that the igloo, the air and the water are exactly the same temperature. So it's all temperature controlled. So you go in, you lie down, and you float. Right. So your senses are completely like on hold. There's no
Wow.
appreciation of down, up, side, left, right. You're literally floating, and it does some amazing things in terms of therapy for uh, individuals who might have had traumatic births, for instance, because
Hmm.
it's as if you're floating in utero, right? And so I've done it, so like I said, a few times. And the last time I did it, I was in there for 30 minutes. It's all dark, can't see a thing, floating, right? And I closed my eyes, I'm off. And I swear to God, I was out on the other side of the universe. And just my mind
Wow.
went to these places of just, expansion, sort of consciousness expanding kind of places. And it left a very deep impression on me, I must say.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Well, I think that's like to me, like when we go to the beach or the ocean anywhere, especially like in Florida where
oh
there's
yeah,
a high salinity and all that.
yeah.
I love just floating on my back. It's the most peaceful thing in the world to me. It's
Oh,
like,
it's wonderful. It's just so
yeah,
wonderful, right? So flotation tank, and then the weighted blanket. That's for all of it, and the ears, acupressure. It's all for calming and relaxing and basically, recalibrating your brain, kicking it up a notch, recalibrating it. Yeah.
Wow, that's I never understood it, but I enjoyed it anyway. So it was like anytime you tell me I could sit in with my earbuds and listen to the music of my choice, and I'm going to sit in a nice dark room with a weighted blanket, I'm all for it. How many times a week can I do that shit?
Absolutely, I tell you, yeah. Listen, I have for Midnight Blue. No, for now, who is it? Someone here is dealing with chronic pain and also has cancer. I wanted to share
Oh
something.
my God.
And a very, very good friend of mine wrote this book, The Way Through Chronic Pain: Tools to Reclaim Your Healing Power. And it's written by Elizabeth Kipp, Kipp. So, and
I'm going to get that for Shanna. What's it called again? Let me see. I'm going to
The
Amazon this.
Way Through Chronic Pain,
All right.
Elizabeth Kipp. So Elizabeth Kipp is a very dear friend of mine. And she and I both study with Tommy Rosen. She is very active in Tommy's community, and she runs recovery groups and all sorts of things. And she has the most remarkable story about really extreme chronic pain and being put on massive, massive doses of opioids. And she is now, 10 plus years opioid free. She has an amazing life. She, does all sorts of work in the field of recovery. And so I wanted to just, there you go.
That's awesome. I'm looking for it. Okay, I'm gonna just get it on Amazon because it's not on Audible.
Good. And
So
Miss Can't Be Wrong just ordered it. Yay. And Midnight Blue, you're very welcome. Yeah. So it's I really recommend it. And any friend of mine who writes a book, I'm going to promote it. Right. So
yeah, why not? Why
yeah,
not?
well, I'm also going through my own process with this book of mine, which is enough to drive a person crazy. But hey,
I'm sure.
I
I'm sure. I'm gonna buy it.
finally found a publisher, but they're telling me that they can't publish the book or have it out until March of 2024. On the other hand, there's another company that if you wanted to pay them $30,000, they would have it out in 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I am learning so much about this. I'm really, my brain today is like feeling like I've got spaghetti coming out of my ears because it's really a whole nother world. My learning curve has been like this. So, but here it is. My only bound copy, Rise in Recovery.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, there it is, all in all its glory. Right now, it's maybe a year before it comes out. So I was hoping it would come out sooner, but
Well, I'm looking for. Look at that. We got an author on the show. You believe this shit?
oh well. Last time I was on, I talked about it, and I thought it was going to be out much sooner. But if I go with this company, it's going to be a while. So that's okay. I could just write another one in the meantime.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Make use of the time. I wanted to go back to what you were saying about something because you mentioned quitting smoking and the acupuncture in your ears, whatever.
Yes.
I did hypnosis there. They hypnotized me to quit smoking.
Great.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie. It lasted about 2 days right after it. And for the next 2 days, I had no interest in smoking. It was amazing. But then as time went on, it was like, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah, it didn't work for me.
Listen, I know it only too well because I used to be a 2-pack a day smoker. And in 1998, I quit. And the reason I quit is because I was going to this yoga class on Fridays in Fort Lauderdale. I was newly recovered, maybe only 4 years, not even, about 4 years, 5 years in recovery. And going to this yoga class, there was a very attractive man there. And as you might imagine, not very many men in yoga classes. So
what was his name? Don Berlin?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh my God, Don. Don, do you hear this shit?
He knows the story. So I went up to him after a class and I said, hey, would you like to get a cup of coffee? And he looked at me and said, I would love to have a cup of coffee. I would love to get to know you better. I've been watching you in class. You're really good. He said, but I don't date smokers. And I looked at him, I went, what? And he said, seen you smoking in the parking lot. And I don't date smokers.
No, ain't that a bitch?
Oh, and I'll tell you, it was like something hit me in the middle of my forehead and went, poosh. Because I'm driving home and I'm thinking to myself, how many people am I limiting? How many chances of meeting, the love of my life am I limiting because I smoke? And that was it.
Yeah, it's true.
That was it. And I went home. I had a couple friends who were no longer smoking. Several days later, I finally found a hypnotist in Fort Lauderdale. Go to him, walked in a smoker, 2 packs a day, mind you, and walked out non-smoker for 10 days. After 10 days, I literally became homicidal. I wanted to kill somebody, for sure.
Really?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it was really frightening how this sensation inside me, that physical, right, much less emotional and all of that. Call up the hypnotist and listen, I'm going to kill somebody. I've hit a brick wall. Help. And he said, no problem. Come back in. In the meantime, if you have to smoke, but do it very mindfully,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And he got me in within a week and gave me an extra long session. And what he did was he regressed me to the point in my life, in time, when I made the conscious decision that I was going to smoke cigarettes. And that point in time, when I was 6 years, going on 7 years old, and my parents were both nutso, right? And they were fighting and drinking, and they're crazy, and the dogs are barking, and it was insane. And all I could think of was, when I'm older, I'm going to be in control.
Yeah.
All I could think of, I'm going to be in, because my father smoked, my mother smoked occasionally, but I'm going to be in control. Took me back to that moment, and we literally undid the decision under hypnosis. I woke up. I was awake, but I came out of it, and it was a good 45 minutes of being under. Came out of it. That was in November of 1998, and I have never smoked a cigarette since.
That's incredible. That's amazing. See, it's the thing about smoking is such a bitch. Like, you know how many times I've been in jail for months at a time, and I came out and I started smoking. Even the last time, 2016, I was in work release. We went on lockdown for 2 weeks. So for that 2 weeks, I couldn't have a cigarette. The fucking first day I was allowed to go back to work, I ran where my cigarettes were stashed, and I started sucking them down. Like, unbelievable. Like, it never leaves you. It's weird. But so the fact that you could do that with hypnosis is incredible.
It does leave you if you undo the very decision that you made however old you were, and you made a decision consciously or subconsciously to be cool, be in control, whatever it is. The other thing is cigarettes, and this I learned in the process of quitting, cigarettes create a screen, right, of smoke, right? And so it keeps everybody at a distance. Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
I'll tell you what, though. I had a hot older chick named Wendy who tried to tell me she doesn't date smokers, and I said, yeah, well, now you do. And it worked. She respected that.
Well, thank God I quit, because 2 years later I met Don Berlin, and he didn't smoke, and that was one of the first, you don't smoke, do you? And like, hell no. But both of us used to be smokers, so it was perfect.
Yeah, Don still chews gum, doesn't he? To keep
chews gum, but I do too. He chews gum more actively, but I do when I'm driving. I chew gum because that used to be my big cigarette thing. So I chew gum in the car, but I never chew, online or in sessions. If I'm doing accounting, my bookkeeping, I chew gum voraciously because I get very nervous with the numbers. So. Yeah.
No, I understand. Listen, while you're here, Kimberly, I don't want to. One thing I was thinking about earlier is I can already see less and less discussion taking place about MIMS. And I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen. I'm afraid that in a couple of weeks, nobody's going to be talking about her anymore. And I don't want that to happen. I
Mm.
want to really help Gemini 44 and the ladies from the other community
Yeah.
push this get Narcan thing. So
Okay.
I don't know if Don told you, but I did get mine. I got 4 of these. I got them from the nextdistro.org. They, basically PA, you get them through the state. And they
Uh-huh.
sent me 4 of them. I gave 2 to Shanna, and I have 2. Now, some people I think are having issues getting it. Don said you can get it to people. Is that correct?
Well, I can't get it to people, but I know where to get. I mean, I know I can offer my resources in terms of my knowledge. Hang on one second, and I'm very quickly. Okay, so Narcan, you can get it online. American Red Cross has naloxone, Narcan,
Mm-hmm.
the whole training kit. Good RX. All right. And that's where you can get free Narcan from Good RX. That's www.good, GOOD, all one word.com. You can also visit any major pharmacy, CVS, Walgreens, etc., and ask if there are any Narcan kits available for free. But if you do have to pay for it, it can range from like $7 to about $15-20, all the way up to 130. But 130 has like multiple doses. The over-the-counter price should be about under $100 for a Narcan kit.
Okay.
If you Google Narcan, where to get it, it's now sold at Walgreens, right?
Yeah.
And another website called Everyday Health has information on, that's everydayhealth, all one word.com, has information on where to get Narcan nasal spray for free. CVS has a whole thing on it. And of course, they're one of the biggest, right? So Save a Life with Naloxone or Narcan tells you all about it and then where to get it. So in CVS, it's available without a prescription in all states except the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. So no matter where you are in this country, as long as you're not in Washington, D.C. or Puerto Rico, you can get naloxone spray in any CVS store.
There you go. Good. Yeah, good to know. I checked my Good RX, and I don't know if I found it for free on there, but I found it might have been Walgreens. It's like $22.
Yeah.
So it's like big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Crazy, right?
that's nothing. And I'm gonna have Shanna get more from that nextdistro.org. From the state. I'm gonna have her get some more too, because I want to have it with me. I want to have it in the car. I want her to have it in the car. I'm even gonna give it to my mom. She's out and about doing things.
You never know.
So,
You just never know what's going to happen out there. And so I think it's really, it's a moral responsibility in this day and age, right?
yeah.
We have a responsibility to our humanity that, should, God forbid, we be wandering around somewhere and we see someone that clearly is in a condition of overdose, then we've got something right there in the, in handbag, briefcase, backpack, glove compartment. What better thing in a glove compartment than Narcan? You never put your gloves in there anyway. So,
Imagine if everybody carried it, how many lives would be saved?
we would be saving a lot of lives, right? And the fact that it's free in some places, is really encouraging that kind of, that pharmaceutical company is willing to do that. That's a big deal, as opposed to, raping the public with, high prices that are just, reaping millions of profit ridiculousness. Right. So, so I think it's really important. I really advocate it. And I also want to advocate or remind everybody that there, the Good Samaritan law is in place so that if you do help someone, no harm can come to you,
Yep.
right? And that's a really, really important thing to know, because a lot of people are very concerned, like, oh God, if I go and try and help someone, can they sue me or whatever? No, they cannot. If you're a good Samaritan trying to save someone's life, whether it's CPR, Narcan, whatever, you cannot be sued or you're not liable.
Yeah, that goes also for people who might have been using or in possession of something at the time. They won't be charged criminally as long as they call.
Exactly.
But if you're in a situation where you're getting high with somebody and they OD and you leave them, guess what?
Then you're in trouble.
Then you're in trouble.
You're
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
serious trouble, right?
Yeah,
Any
definitely.
news on that in terms of this person? I think his name was Neil.
No, unfortunately not. But last time you were on, Mims was still in comfort care, and
Yeah.
she did pass since then. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want her to be forgotten. I don't want people to um, forget this get Narcan thing and
Yeah.
just lay off of the subject. I want it to live on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, I'm
so
so sorry to hear that. And to her friends who are on right now, I'm so sorry to hear that. I really am. And I will say prayers for her, and, um, and may she rest in peace. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me read you some comments, Kimberly.
Please.
You got Miss Can't Be Wrong said, Kimberly, when your book is out, I want it. I'll get the way through chronic pain Saturday. I'll let you know. Yes, and I just ordered it too on Amazon, so I'll have it in a few
Great.
days.
Great.
There
Thank you.
you go. You
And
got your
listen,
friend some book sales.
all right. All right. Yeah. It'll be, when it does come out, it'll be, on Amazon, it'll be an ebook. And it will, and then there will be limited in bookstores, but then I'll be purchasing my own copies for when I go to speaking engagements and that kind of thing. But it will be, it's called print on demand. So that when you order it, they print it, right? So, which is pretty cool. You save a lot of paper and storage space, so it's ecologically sound. But yeah, so just have to come down with the right company.
Yeah, I wish you all the luck in the world. Absolutely.
If anybody out there knows anything about publishing, please, dear God, contact me, because I'm a wreck.
Well, you never know. The people who watch this show, you might just come in contact with somebody.
Exactly.
You
I
want
mean,
me to put your information up on the screen
oh,
while you're
please,
here?
yes, by all means. Yeah, no, so I'm dead serious. If anybody knows anything about hybrid publishing, please contact me, because I am really struggling, and I'm trying to talk with Dawn about it. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that has to make the decision. I just know that I'm not going to pay somebody $40,000 to publish my book. That I'm not going to do. So, that would be foolishness, because, please. Especially
Yeah,
when
it's
I
not.
found out from this company. I had two companies today that I talked to, and this afternoon I found out that the first company this morning that was advertising how, they'll get you in the Amazon bestseller list, and they'll get you on the Goodreads top of the and so 5,000 for one, 8,000 for another. And I come to find out with the second company, that only costs $119. You just sign on and put your information in. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's
Yeah.
looking out for me, I'll tell you, right? And I'm not opening my wallet until I'm absolutely sure.
No,
So,
you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
yeah.
I wanted to because I didn't want to miss this. I put it up on the screen earlier, but I got to give him a shout out. Tony Validated Pizza. I'm 11 years sober. Love this show. That's great to know, Tony. Congratulations, 11 years, man.
Congratulations,
That's
Tony.
admirable, man. That's
Way to
amazing.
go.
Yeah, for sure. Don DeLong said, "Hi." I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, no, no. Mm-mm.
Hi, FBS and Kimberly. Thank you for sharing the information.
Thank you.
Let me see what else we got, because I know some of these comments are for you. Underworld Media, I have 5 months without cigs. I had crazy anger at first, then I had a crazy appetite around a month after quitting.
Yeah, I put on
Yeah, I could see that.
I put on 10 pounds easily, but I didn't care. I was just so happy to be away from it, right? Yeah. So, but the anger, that was homicidal, I'm telling you. I was ready to kill somebody, honestly. And
I
I
bet.
never felt that in my life. I didn't know where it was, like, scary, right? Because
I'll tell you what, the thing, like, for being in jail, it goes to show you how so much stuff is in your brain, and it's your mind controlling everything else. When you're in jail and you just can't have them, for the first few days it's a bitch, but then you don't even think about them.
that's right.
But the second you have an opportunity to get a cigarette in your hand, holy
Yeah,
shit.
here,
Yeah.
here, have a cancer stick, please.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
crazy.
it's crazy. And it's interesting because after I had that second round of hypnosis, I'll tell you something. The smell absolutely makes me nauseous. I cannot be around the smell of cigarettes. So, for instance, when I go to AA meetings and they're all clustered around the door, I'm the one that says, "Excuse me, pardon me, non-smoker coming through, please," or I just hold my breath and walk through as fast as I possibly can. And I'm gagging because I have it's really weird.
That's
Um,
crazy.
used to love that smell of cigarettes, right? It was so inviting. Now, so
Yeah, it's my mom, she got very, very sick. I think it was last maybe October, something like that. And she couldn't breathe right at all, and she already has heart problems and diabetes and all that stuff.
oh,
And she couldn't smoke, and she just quit after 55 years. She hasn't had a cigarette yet. We share the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, she doesn't, she was able to just do it. And it's
wow.
shocking to me because so many times I asked her to quit smoking, and she wasn't able to do it, but just getting sick, that was it for her.
And sometimes, it's like the story that you were sharing earlier. Sometimes you just reach a limit, right? And
Yeah,
something just goes, can't do this anymore, right?
yeah,
Just can't do this anymore. Don't want to do it anymore. Can't do it anymore. And if I keep doing it, I may not be around. I may die. And so that's sometimes, that's like, instead of being scared straight, you're sort of, you know, um, catapulted straight,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Sometimes it just takes a specific thing. Like,
Yeah,
I've said, the day I walk into a doctor's office and he says you must quit smoking right now, I
they'll
will
do
quit
it.
without a doubt.
They'll do
My
it.
dad, my dad, when I was maybe, oh man, I don't know, I might have been 13, 14 years old. He was playing baseball at a company picnic, and he tore his Achilles tendon, and he got a blood clot in his lung. He almost died. We got him to the hospital in the nick of time.
Oh,
And that was it. He quit. He was smoking at that point, probably 20 something, 30 years, something like that. And he just quit on the spot. That was it. Yeah. And he never smoked again, as far as I know. I don't know what he's doing now, but
wow.
yeah.
That's
So yeah, sometimes that's all it takes.
Yep.
Let's see. Let me see what else you got here. They also can bill your insurance, pay like 150 for the Narcan. Yes.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
Yep.
Um,
Uh,
oh, and by the way, marijuana for chronic pain, there's a better way, and that is CBD oil. And I think I talked about CBD oil the last time I was here, but CBD is an extract of hemp or marijuana, and is used because it reduces inflammation in your body. So if you have chronic pain, it's usually because your nerve endings or joints or ligaments, muscles, tendons, etc., are inflamed. And CBD reduces the inflammation because it attaches to the C2 receptor. You have two receptors in your brain, C1, C2. C1 gets you high when you ingest marijuana, but C2 takes the all of the properties of marijuana minus the THC, and it reduces the inflammation in your body. And it's why they use it. It's really close to being approved for epilepsy, for children particularly. A lot of research is being done and really finding that CBD is far superior than marijuana for just that reason. Yeah, so just saying. So
yeah.
some
I
comment.
told Shanna has fibromyalgia, and she won't take CBD because of the marijuana
Ah,
component. So I told her what you said, and she started looking into it. So
good, good.
yeah, we get good information from you, Kimberly.
Thank you. I try. I try. The other thing for fibromyalgia that is really helpful is, believe it or not, movement. And I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but I discovered um, a kind of movement over a year ago that absolutely it changed my life. It changed my world. It really did. And it was this kind of movement was developed by a former dancer, Israeli, and his name is Ohad Naharin. Very difficult name to remember. So the way you can remember this is the movement language that he created is called Gaga, Gaga, Gaga movement language. And the website is very simple, gagapeople.com. That's it. And they have classes all day long. You can get unlimited pass for classes, and they have classes on weekends. Unlimited pass for like 2 or 3 months for like $60. I mean, we're talking $5 a class. And the teachers are from all over the world. They're in Israel, Berlin, London, Paris, Sydney, Australia. They are everywhere, and they come online, and some pretty cool music playing in the background. And basically all you're doing is very slowly moving your body as instructed. So move your shoulder, move your arm, right? Move your leg. And then little by slowly, you're putting everything together. But the cues are really powerful. So for instance, what does it feel like when your spine is like seaweed? Well, if you sort of make your spine like seaweed, right? Wow, that's a whole different thing. What is it when it's very stiff and robotic? So you begin to rewire your brain in a lot of different ways. I've got several clients of mine who had fibromyalgia doing Gaga movement. And then I bring Gaga movement into my therapeutic sessions for clients because 9 times out of 10 I'm in my yoga pants. Yeah. So I can move pretty freely. It is the most remarkable approach, I think, to healing trauma, to healing illness or pain in the body. I actually discovered it not too long after I had foot surgery, and I'd had an ongoing problem with my knee. And I did a couple of months of Gaga, and foot is absolutely perfect, and the knee has never hurt again, which is amazing.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, much less stuff inside, right, that I had still been struggling with, transformed completely, right? Psychological stuff, whatever, just transformed completely. And I was so smitten by all of this that I ended up taking a trip to Italy, where they had a retreat for about 5 days. And we got to dance with Ohad Naharin, which was pretty amazing. And when I met him, I let him know that he and I danced together in New York City. Both of us were students at the time. We're both he's a couple of years older than me, but both of us studied under very, very famous people. And so that was kind of cool to have that kind of connection after all the 50 years plus since I've danced.
That's incredible.
So, when it just goes to show you, my message is always, don't ever give up on anything, right? And never, it's never too late to try something new. I think that's part of the beauty of recovery, right? Is like, oh, let's try this kind of thing. See what, maybe we'll like it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll try, right? Yeah. What's the best that could happen?
Yeah, that's the way to look at it. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. Oh, and a fentanyl test kit. Yes. Who is that? I just missed that.
Oh, that's JFID.
Yes, JFID. Absolutely right. A fentanyl test kit. Right. Yep.
Yeah, if you're a current addict, yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Test whatever you get find out if that shit is in there.
And I can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know.
No.
And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And yep.
Yep, absolutely. Della's my name. As far as the shelf life, I just got this, and the expiration date is November 2025.
Yeah.
And it says on the back, I'll show you guys,
Yeah.
and Jesse Roth mentioned it in the chat. If you use yours, you see it says get a refill if this is used. All you got to do is go back to the website, let them know you used it, and they'll give you more.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's
And
fabulous.
Miss Can't Be Wrong said, Kimberly, I'd like an autographed copy.
Well, if I go with this company, it'll be March next year. I have another interview with another company on Monday. If I go with them, it'll be sooner, but we'll figure it out. But thank you. I will absolutely come on and make sure that folks get autograph copies, right?
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Midnight Blue, yeah, the answer to your question, it was $15.99, I believe, as far as the cost of the book. Let me see what else we got here for you, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Kimberly, what do you think about vaping? Good question.
Whoa. The same I do about cigarettes and smoking.
Thank you. I have people on here who swear to God that if you vape, it's nothing compared to smoking. Let me tell you something. Every time I go to the doctor, they say, do you vape or smoke? And I say, I smoke. Is vaping better? And they say, no, absolutely not. It's
more tar comes into your lungs through vaping. And that's where it's really bad, folks. I mean, it's bad. And yes, cigarettes are harder to quit than every drug, heroin and Xanax. That, the medical and the addiction community say that, quitting cigarettes is harder than quitting heroin. Absolutely. And a lot of it is because of the chemical properties and the withdrawal symptoms, right? So, I mean, in heroin, it's like 3-4 days, you're sick as a dog, and then you're over it. Not so with cigarettes. So
yeah, no, it's a lifestyle. That's why it's a lifestyle.
That's true too, because there are all those triggers, But vaping is nasty, nasty business, and then vaping THC is 10 times worse, because just think of the concentrate of tar that you're inhaling into your lungs, right? And that's clogging your capacity or your ability to breathe, right?
Yeah.
You can't breathe, you be dead. I mean, it's that simple. Yeah. You're definitely screwed if you can't breathe,
And then there's that popcorn lung shit too.
Oh God. Yeah. So, I think we all have to start really examining some of the whys of why we do this, right? Why do we vape? Is it cool? Is it I'm in with the in crowd to vape, or I get the, what is it? What am I? So I got a status thing going here, what is the reason, right? Why
it's just a new thing. It replaced cigarettes.
Yeah, supposedly. It's yet another company or industry, right, that has spent millions and millions of dollars convincing the public that it's safer than cigarettes, when in fact it isn't, and there was actually an amazing article that was just published, a big article. There is an independent research entity that has finally done something like 10 years worth of research on marijuana. And what they have determined is that this country was lied to, cheated, and bullied into legalizing marijuana. And in fact, marijuana is incredibly dangerous. Young kids are smoking it in record numbers. There is a 46% increase in the last 3 years, 4 years, 46% increase in the last 4 years of kids smoking marijuana from the age of 12 to 17.
Wow.
And, and these kids are buying into this. Oh, it's legal, so it's fine. It's an herb. It's not addictive. And we have a higher rate of marijuana use disorder cases coming into treatment than ever before. And I know for me, my clients, I'm getting more and more and more and more marijuana cases.
That's crazy.
One in
Yeah,
particular,
see?
very interesting. I have one client who smoked. I've been able to get him down by like 75%, but he smokes marijuana because he has ADD and he has high anxiety. So the psychiatrist told him, I can't give you ADD medication until you get off the marijuana, find an addiction specialist, get off the marijuana, and then I'll give you the ADD medication.
Yeah.
So I tried repeatedly to reach out and talk with this psychiatrist who never made himself available, despite the fact that I had releases. And I got the client to, like I said, 75% reduction. I mean, this guy was smoking from the moment he woke up to the moment he went to sleep. And the psychiatrist would still not give him the medication for ADD. And I told my client, I said, okay, we're at an impasse right now, because unless you can get the ADD medication, your anxiety is still, we're fighting the anxiety, right? And if you get the medication, you'd get off the marijuana, right? So, last time I checked, doctors were supposed to do no harm, but tricky business. So yeah. But I really work actively with folks on issues of marijuana. Yeah.
That's interesting stuff. I see people think it's harmless. Everybody, it's not a drug, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Yeah, it's actually very harmful. And we're discovering that because back in the day when I was smoking pot, I was into, like Thai red bud and that kind of shit. This is like before you were around,
Yeah.
I was on the cusp of the Vietnam era. So, I'm old. But anyway, it was pretty strong stuff. Took a couple of hits and, you were in a very nice place. Today, the potency of marijuana is like triple what it was back in my day. So when you've got marijuana that's 3-4 times stronger, right, you're really affecting the brain in ways that we're only just beginning to understand at this stage of the game. Here's what we do know that this report revealed, which is really frightening. And that is that continued use of high potency marijuana has a direct correlation. That means you do this will happen. It has a consequence, right, of schizophrenia because of what it does to the nerve endings of areas of your brain.
Kimberly, I just saw an article about that exactly, about marijuana use and schizophrenia. That's so crazy. I just saw it yesterday. Yeah.
It came out yesterday, day before. This thing came out, and it's now hitting the news big time. But yeah, ask Kimberly what she knows about kratom and if it's a good alternative to opiates. Kratom. Kratom. Last time I checked, maybe I'm mixing it up with something else.
I always heard of it as kratom, and it's like a
It's an indigenous to Thailand, and it's an herbal medicine, chewing, smoking, and tea. Oh, but it's in the same family of okay, so it's from an evergreen tree. Don't know much more, but I've heard of it, right? But don't know too much more about it other than, obviously FDA is warning consumers not to use it because of some side effects. So yeah.
I worked with a kid. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I just found it. So kratom has a thing in it called mitragynine, and it works like an opioid, like morphine, relieving pain. But that's all I know about it. I don't know much. So I'm sorry, I can't. Wise Guy TV, I can't answer that question. So.
Yeah, I worked with a guy maybe a couple of years ago at a job, and he got off heroin and he started using that, and he was just as doped up as he was on heroin. It was like, I didn't even believe him at first. I'm like, you got to be on dope. And then he started telling me he actually had to go to rehab for it. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's much better. I mean,
Yeah.
it was weird. If he took it at certain times of the day, like in the morning, he'd be like the heroin effect. He'd be nodding off and he'd be like a downer. And then when he'd take it in the afternoon, it was the opposite. It'd give him energy, and he was all over the fucking place. I don't know.
So I think Miss Can't Be Wrong is right in saying don't mess with it. It's bad news. And I'm of the mind. Listen, except for my ice cream addiction, Don Berlin will occasionally support by going to Costco and buying me vanilla ice cream from Costco. Costco vanilla ice cream is the best, but it's getting more and more expensive because the price of eggs and all of that. Anyway, except for my occasional ice cream relapses, I don't put anything in my body, in my mouth, in my nose, in my mind that doesn't support a healthy life, period. My recovery is based on pure body, pure mind, and pure soul, right? So I don't ingest anything that will alter my consciousness, alter my perception, or alter my body chemistry in any way in a negative manner, right? That's just the way I do it. But I think that all the ice cream I want. Well, thank you, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I admit I have a sugar addiction, which I've been struggling with for years. And so of late, it's really been under very good control. Occasional bowl of ice cream here and there, that doesn't kill you. But when it's like nonstop sugar, that's not very healthy. And it's, sugar is also very bad for your brain, really it is. So the least amount of negative input results in the greatest amount of positive output. That's the way I look at it.
It's funny. Sugar was never my thing. Even I drink iced tea. Other than that, I don't eat any cookies, cake, candy, nothing. I don't eat anything. I don't.
Lucky.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was never my thing. I was never into it.
Yeah.
JP312 said, I've been to more rehabs than I can count. And any kid that came in for just weed 9 times out of 10 ended up turning to the real hard drugs because they were around real addicts.
Yep. Amen.
Interesting.
Yep. That is really, it's, I never used to believe, gateway drug theory until it happened to me.
Well, what was your gateway? Because I believe the greatest gateway drug out there is alcohol.
Yeah, well, that was it. I had my first drink when I was 2 years old. And I think I told that story last time I was here, but, I grew up in the south of France. So they give kids, wine, red wine, and they don't even bother to put some water in it. This is here, and I used to, my parents were renovating an old farmhouse in the south of France. And we had this fantastic Italian gardener, stonemason. And I used to sit with him at lunchtime and under the trees, and he would have his salami and cheese and French bread and his bottle of wine, which the whole bottle he drank at lunchtime. But the trees ended up a little crooked, but anyway. And he would, he was Italian, right? And he would give me, he would pass the glass. And he said, drink. And I would, and then I would sleep under the trees for the rest of the afternoon. Nice. So that was my first, can you imagine 2 years old, right? And alcohol is going into your brain. Like, wow, okay. So by the time I was, 9, 10, 11, I'm sneaking drinks from the adults, right? And by the
Yeah.
time I'm 12, 13 and all the shit is hitting the fan in my life, you better believe that I'm drinking.
Oh,
And
yeah.
mom was an alcoholic, so you know, um, and um, and anybody she was around was an alcoholic. So what did they know? So and I was vehemently against marijuana until we moved to California. Moved to California when we were in Palo Alto, where Stanford. One of my brothers went to Stanford University, and so we moved to Palo Alto to be there. And I went to a free concert, Sly and the Family Stone. I'll never forget it. Right there, I
Yeah.
am. I'm 13 years old, right? And I'm in the sitting there watching Sly and the Family Stone, and it was just so cool. It was just so neat. It was so opposite of the life I had had in New York City at a girls' private school. Please, right? I'm like, whoa, this is life, And someone passed me a joint,
Yeah.
and I took it.
Yeah, because everything's a good idea when you're drinking.
Like, what the fuck? Why not? Like, why not? So I took a hit, coughed my lungs out. I had tried cigarettes, but coughed my lungs out. Somebody laughed, and they obviously didn't realize I was only 13 years old.
Oh my God.
And it came back again, and I hit it again, right? And I felt great. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is it. This takes care of everything. And I became a dedicated pot smoker from the age of 13 until 1981.
Wow.
And I smoked a lot of pot. And then from pot, I went to psychedelics and cocaine. Cocaine in New York City as a dancer was my number one go-to. If I couldn't get my hands on amphetamines to jack me up, I was into the cocaine, and I would start first thing in the morning just to get through the dance classes. Dance as fast as you can,
Yeah.
and jump as
People.
Me and a lot of other dancers were very high on cocaine to just be able to have the physical capacity to do what was expected of you, right? And then you come down at night with downers. And then we'd start in the morning again with the Coke and, a shot of vodka, and you're off.
Yeah, for real. I knew women. There was a couple of women I sold Coke to, and they only bought Coke on Sundays because it was cleaning day. And they wanted to be all coked up to clean the house. No bullshit. And they would just get high and put music on and clean the whole fucking house like the Tasmanian devil. You know what I mean? Around the whole house. It's funny that the people use it for motivation and energy. It's crazy.
Oh my God, I love it. I mean, if you saw me cleaning this house, which I do, I plug myself into the loudest rock and rap that I can get. The loudest.
Really?
Oh my God, it has to be. And in fact, the stupid phone will tell me after 2 or 3 hours, hey, your sound levels are too high, right? And I've got, Don will tell you, I've got the broom and the vacuum, and I'm dancing around and I'm wiping and cleaning the thing. And this place is ridiculously large. And so it's the best workout ever, just sweating my ass off. And the only thing I'm drinking is water and coffee. That's it.
Much different, huh? Much different.
Different than dancing my ass off, on cocaine. Yeah. So that was my drug of choice. That was my gateway. Was alcohol, and I don't miss it. I'll tell you that. I really don't miss it. I don't miss any of it, because this side of the ledger and this side of the fence is just so much nicer.
It's amazing. Like when I was talking about the rehab earlier, one of the things, like that day I woke up in the hotel and decided to go to rehab. People don't understand the withdrawal from alcohol. People who've never been hardcore alcoholics. I'm talking about liquor drinkers, 24-hour a day liquor drinkers. That sounds funny. Liquor drinkers, but it's people don't realize what the withdrawal is like. You have no control over your mind or body, none whatsoever. Your body, everybody knows about the tremors. My hands would be shaking like that, but you get the shakes inside. It feels like everything in your body is rattling, and you can't. You're jumpy, you're fidgety. You can't control your body. You can't get comfortable. You're so fucking miserable and sick. It's your brain feels like it's going to explode. You can't stop heaving. I mean, you name it.
It's awful.
Never again in my life. I don't give a fuck what the circumstances. I never want to feel that again.
You and me both. Never, ever again. Because I didn't get the chance to, I didn't go to treatment. I just
Hmm.
walked into an AA meeting and I stayed. And
So you
that
didn't
was,
have to be medically detoxed?
I detoxed myself.
Wow.
And I was going to, I was in my master's, first semester of my master's program in social work. I don't know what I
Jesus.
was thinking, right? But I mean, some people tell me, or some of my family members, "Oh, you're strong, Kimberly, strong." I was like an Amazon trying to get through that. There were days I thought I was going to die. There were days when I didn't think I would make it.
Oh, me
But I
too.
guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, But
Yeah, I guess so.
it was fucking tough. It was so tough. I mean, I had to be on mentally. And you're right, the whole body, it was just like constant, and smoking. I was smoking like a maniac, I went from 1 pack to 2.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas it's like, everything, nightmares, memories. Oh my God. And, just emotional, sort of out of control emotionally, because it was all coming up, and
Right.
I found myself a really good therapist at a free clinic of all things, right? And she said to me, she said, "I don't know how you got through these first couple of months without treatment, but you're here, and so let's work." And so she really helped me. I saw her once a week for like 6, 8 months, and she really helped me get through the worst of stuff that AA can't touch. I mean, they say get outside help. I got it. I really got it. And she was wonderful. But the meetings kept me in the chair and kept me away from a drink. So,
That's
and
why I say, I'm not for AA myself, but if it helps people, use it. Absolutely.
and
Whatever keeps you clean and sober.
the thing is, Chris, that I'm a Buddhist, right? So this
Mhm.
whole thing about this God thing, I was like, what, right? And then I found it. I think it's 28, no, page 18 in the introduction, right? This is not
Mhm.
a religious program. We have all faiths. It's a spiritual program. I was like, oh, okay, I'll stay.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
stay.
Isn't that more like refuge now? Isn't that
And refuge is wonderful.
I loved it. I
Noah
loved
has
refuge.
done such an incredible job. Noah Levine, incredible job, right? And also, there were a bunch of people now who are doing Buddhism and the 12 steps, right? Buddhism and in recovery. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, when I got out of there, I was actually the only meetings I was willing to continue to attend was refuge, and
Yeah.
I searched and searched because it's not that big yet. Oh,
Uh,
at least it wasn't when I left rehab
it,
4 years ago.
there's a lot of it now. There is a lot online. There are online
Hmm.
meetings for refuge. Does everybody know what refuge is? I think so, right? Refuge
I
recovery.
don't. I
Um,
don't know if everybody does. I have the book too somewhere. I don't.
so there it is. I just cleaned up my office, so I know where everything is now.
I want that office.
Refuge recovery.
Yes, I have that book.
Yep. So yeah, and I highly recommend this if AA is not your thing. And as my teacher says, it doesn't matter what path you choose for recovery. Choose one, and then
Yeah.
walk it.
Yeah, if
Right?
you guys aren't into AA, check out Refuge. See, I didn't. The only reason I didn't continue when I got out of rehab, I was still living in York, and the closest meeting was like all the way out in Lancaster County, and there was only one a week, and that was it. I said, okay, well then fuck it, I'm not going. I guess.
They're online now, and it's really gaining traction. It really is. So,
Really
yeah. And
good, good.
Robert B., you're right. Good orderly direction. Absolutely correct.
Chad D said, Chad D is a big fan of yours. If he
Oh,
said, hello, FBS, I have said before, a great important show. Salute to you, Chris. And Kimberly is one of your best people to talk to on here. Yeah, you have no idea how popular you are on here, Kimberly. You have no idea.
okay. Well, I'm humbled. I really am. I'm humbled. Um, uh, So thank you, everybody. Really, I mean, that means a lot to me. It really does. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I apologize. I kept you on here so long. I know you just probably wanted to jump on for a minute.
No, it's okay. I have at it.
All right. Well, I'll just address this one more thing.
Okay.
Forever Young asked that question about real quick before we get to this about she smoked weed and her forehead tingled. She said, "Is there a reason for that?" She asked earlier.
Yeah. So this is your prefrontal cortex. Well, it's your frontal lobe. Okay. So frontal lobe is this bone back here, and then you've got all these nerves and stuff like that between the bone and the skin of your forehead, right? And so your frontal lobe is thinking, processing, that kind of thing. When you smoke marijuana, it affects the frontal lobe, and there's other parts of it as well. I won't bore you with it. But if you're just getting a tingling sensation on your forehead, your body is basically not accepting what's coming into you, right? So it's like an allergic reaction, right? Does that
That's
make sense?
interesting.
Does
Oh
that
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure she's glad to have that answer finally.
Yeah, because then you don't need to smoke it anymore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Allergic to it, right? But yeah, so when we have, and like there's some kind of food products that if I eat, my lips get tingly.
Hmm.
I'm allergic to them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a food sensitive.
that's
Yeah.
like a minor allergy, right? Because there's
Oh,
certain fruits. There's
yeah.
certain fruits if I eat, my lips will start to tingle, the inside of my mouth, my tongue. It's very I feel like they're about to swell up. It's crazy. But then one day I had an allergy, I guess, to peanuts. I was dieting and
Oh,
I was just snacking on peanuts. And one night I ate some tilapia, I think, and then later on I snacked on some peanuts, and maybe I don't know, an hour or so later, I was laying in bed watching TV, and I broke out in hives all over my body. My lips started to swell, my throat started to close. It became harder and harder to breathe. And I called the paramedics. They came and got me. They gave me in the ambulance. They gave me a shot of Benadryl. But
that's
then
right.
when we got to the hospital, of course, they
Yeah,
gave me an EpiPen,
that's right.
and yeah,
Oh,
two actually, two. That's
scary.
how bad it was. Yeah.
That is
Yes.
scary. Yeah. So if you feel any kind of a tingling after you've used a product, whether that's soap or a food or anything like that, it's not necessarily an allergy. I mean, obviously, if you're swelling up and you can't breathe, that's an allergy. So anaphylactic shock, right?
Yeah.
But it's usually either a sensitivity to something or like minimal allergy to something. Yeah. So that's usually why you get tingling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to address this because Joey Electric said I met this guy at the hospital. He was an alcoholic, and he said he was going to drink himself to death. Very sad, only in his mid-40s. Well, that was Joey Electric. That was without a doubt 100% my goal at two different points throughout my life. When I was heavily addicted, there was a few where I was heavily addicted, but two of those times, that was my absolute goal, without a doubt. That was my plan, is to drink until I die. It's just like the movie Leaving Las Vegas.
Mm,
That's why it's called what it is. Nicolas Cage's plan was to sell everything he had,
it kills.
buy all the liquor he could, and stay in that hotel room and drink himself to death. And that's what he eventually wound up doing.
Yeah.
That's what my plan. It's a slow form of suicide. That's what it is. It's a drawn out form of suicide. It's a mission you're on.
Mm,
Yep.
amen. Yeah,
And it is. It's horribly sad.
it is sad, but hopefully, if he was in the hospital, um, and maybe by some miracle or coincidence, maybe someone said something, or your presence, right, or something you might have said might have stopped him. You never know. You never know.
It's true.
Yeah, you never know. There was something else someone said here, and and it was Joey Electric said Jews and Muslims not eating pork or drinking alcohol is very smart and makes sense when you think about it. Yes, very much so, right?
Yeah, it does.
I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Forever Young said, "Oh my God, I've heard it all. I'm allergic to weed."
That could be your claim to fame, Forever Young. I love it. Oh God.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Kimberly, I want to thank you so much for coming
So
on. You're welcome on any time.
oh, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure as always coming here. And thank you to everyone here for comments and questions. And I just appreciate you so much, Chris. I really do. So
Oh, same to you, Kimberly.
many, many, many blessings to you. Right.
Your words of advice and your wisdom, and your experience and knowledge about addiction in general is it's priceless. So we appreciate you more than you know.
Oh, thank you so much. Many, many blessings, everyone.
Same to you. We'll see you soon, Kimberly.
Okay, I'm going to leave the studio now.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, there you go. I could talk to Kimberly and have her on here all day. She is the absolute best. I mean, what? That's another thing. I don't like to use the word blessing. I think of it more as luck, maybe. But not only did we meet the great Don Berlin, wonderful man, generous, kind. He's helped me out with so many things. Always supports me. But now his lovely wife has been a gift to MobTube, I guess you can say. She really has. So we appreciate her. I know all you guys do because everybody's commenting and complimenting her and stuff. And I feel the same way. I'm so, so grateful to have her be part of these shows from time to time. So I want to read this, Joey lecture, because it hits home so much. He told me when he was drinking 12 cans of beer a day, he had liver damage and most of his teeth missing. Very sad. And he was begging for money to buy more, but I refused. Well, Joey, I'll tell you what, man. I never. Well, give me a sec. As far as liver damage, I've had it many, many times. Because believe it or not, the liver is like the most. It's the most amazing organ in your body. It can heal itself. It can literally a piece of a healthy liver can grow in to a full healthy liver. When it comes to a transplant or something, it's amazing the way it can heal itself. But only to a point. Once you go a little too far, that's it. Now, when I was 19 and I had the seizure, they told me that my liver was, they said I had fatty metamorphosis of the liver. And I was 6 months away from, if I would have kept drinking at the same pace for another 6 months, I would have had full blown cirrhosis of the liver. I stopped. I was young. My liver got better. The next time, in 2007, when I was leaving the psych ward, they told me that my liver enzymes were 343, something like that. And when I went in there, they were much, much less. So this idiot nurse told me that that means I either have alcohol-related hepatitis or liver disease. Well, she told me you got to go back 6 times, or every 6 months, whatever. You got to go get your liver enzymes checked. I refused. Because I looked at it like this. Okay, she just told me I'm dying, basically. So I don't want to know anymore. I don't want to know if I get sick, or I don't want to know. I'm just going to let it happen. Well, years passed, and finally I got the balls to go to a doctor, and he said, your liver enzymes are 43. He said, they're actually better than mine. That's what, and it turns out that I was the only reason my liver enzymes were going up while I was in the psych ward is because as the alcohol comes out of your body, damage is still being done. So temporarily, your liver enzymes will increase. It'll get worse and worse, but then over time, as long as you didn't cross that point of no return, it'll get better. And luckily for me, it did. It did. Now, when I had the heart thing, I don't think they told me anything about my liver, but I get my liver enzymes checked regularly, and they're perfectly normal. But, in the case of the guy you're talking about, yeah, I mean, he probably knew that the liver damage maybe was, like I said, past the point of return. He's missing his teeth. He's begging for money. I mean, he was on a suicide mission. That's the way I see it. There's a particular person on here, right on MobTube, who quite obviously is on a suicide mission. There's no doubt. I am convinced that he is using as a slow form of suicide. And you can't convince me otherwise. You can't tell me this person doesn't want to die. And Joey, I've known people like you're talking about. Um, Nothing stops them. Nothing stops them. I think those are people who have a true love um, of alcohol. And I'm not kidding. I say that because I told you one thing that I think made it possible for me to quit is that I never liked drinking. I did it out of necessity, either to drive away anxiety, to kill depression, or just so I could keep my body calm as I do massive amounts of cocaine. But the people who really have it bad, in my opinion, see, once I was medically detoxed, I was fine because, like I said, I never even liked drinking. I needed to. And another reason, I didn't even say, obviously, to kill withdrawal. To make yourself better when you're sick from withdrawal. I used for that reason. Um, but once I was medically detoxed, I was done. I was done. And this is, not always, twice I was medically detoxed and I went, the first time I went a couple of years, that I chose to just start drinking again. The second time, same thing. I didn't even go that long and I chose to start drinking again. But I didn't become a serious alcoholic again for, I don't know, I'm going to say 5, 6 years. I was just drinking once a month, once every weekend, sometimes once every couple of weeks, whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean, the people who really have it the worst as far as recovering from alcoholism are the people who actually enjoy drinking and the whole ritual of it. You get off work, you can't wait for a cold one. There's always an excuse. I'm going to a barbecue or a cookout. You're going to be drinking there. You go into a celebration, a holiday event, whatever. You're drinking there. If you're going to a special occasion like a wedding, anniversary party, a fucking anything. You're going to a concert, whatever. You just love. You'll go places just because there's drinking happening there, for real. I've known friends who actually love drinking. People who have never been physically addicted to alcohol because they just drink beer, whatever, and they can't stop simply because of the love of alcohol. Let me see something. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. I just got some news. Anyway, so I don't know, man. That's why I have a little bit of guilt sometimes because I think I got it easier because I never liked it. I don't really miss it. There's times, I told you guys about them, but for the most part, I don't miss it. It's the people who really loved it, and it was a lifestyle, just like smoking cigarettes is for me. It's those people who I think have it the worst. So that was an unbelievably long response to your comment, bro. But people like that, I feel terrible for, man, because he's gonna die and he knows it, and he's okay with it apparently. Thank you, Midnight Blue. She's the best. I like that expression, forever young. Nothing tastes better than skinny feels. The first person I heard say that? Fucking Corey Haim on the Howard Stern show. Thank you, Tatone. I think I disappoint quite frequently, but I appreciate that. Oh, Joey. Yeah, that's another thing. That's a good way to kill your liver. Drink alcohol and not water. Or never drink water while you're a severe alcoholic. The other thing that destroys you, and I know from experience, and gets you physically addicted to alcohol, quicker than anything, is inactivity while drinking constantly. Like me, when I was 19 years old, I wasn't doing shit. I was selling drugs. I wasn't even working at the time, and I just drank all day, every day. And I didn't drink beer. I drank vodka all day, every fucking day. And when you're not, see, when you're like alcoholics who drink beer, the reason a lot of them don't get physically addicted is they work all day, they come home, and they might drink from when they come home till when they go to sleep, and then they might binge on the weekends a little bit. But beer is not going to get you as physically addicted. It's not going to get you physically addicted as quickly as liquor. Period. Unless you're drinking massive fucking amounts of it. You got to remember, while you're drinking beer, it's constantly leaving your body. You're pissing it. That's why I could never even get fucking drunk on beer. Because by the time I'm getting close to being drunk, I already pissed out everything I fucking drank. So drinking that hard liquor and being inactive, not going to work, not getting any physical activity or exercise, it's your brain and your body gets physically addicted to it so quickly, and it's a serious physical addiction. It's alcohol withdrawal. Like you guys know, it'll kill you. It's one of only two types of withdrawal that will kill you: benzos and alcohol. That's it, and it'll kill you quick, not over time. You quit drinking without being medically detoxed, and you're physically addicted to alcohol. You're most likely going to die within a couple of days if you don't get medical attention. You're going to have a heart attack or a stroke. At least if you're as physically addicted as I was. Let's see. I told you, they had to put me in a fucking coma in 19 years old. They had to snow me with Ativan, put me in a coma for 7 days because they couldn't get my heart rate under 163 or 164. I was going to have a heart attack and die. There's no doubt about it. At 19 from the withdrawal. They had to put me in a coma. They could not get my heart rate down. The second time, I was in a fucking cell, basically, in a psych ward, and I was on the verge of a heart attack. My heart was going so fast through my chest that I had to run out into, I don't know what you call it, the day room area, whatever, and tell the nurse that my heart's out of control. You got to give me something. And they were out of Valium up there. A fucking security guy ran, or a security guy or a male nurse, whatever it was, ran down to the fucking pharmacy to get the Valium they ordered. And they had to give me a whole shit ton of it. I don't know how many milligrams, but it was a lot just to get my heart under control. To Lefty and others still suffering, there are those few who must die today to keep the rest of us sober tomorrow. It's a sad reality. Wow, I actually understand that. Yeah. It makes sense, Don. Yep. Because sometimes people got to see the consequences before they'll change their own behavior. Oh, I believe it, George Loveless. Yeah, that'll do it. That's a hell of a cocktail. All right, guys, listen, I'm out of here. 2 hours and 11 minutes. I'm very glad we did a long addiction recovery show. Kimberley was, as usual, a wonderful addition to the show. I think she made the show. I just sat here with the fucking big, dumb, fat head and stupid look on my face and fucking ridiculous, fucking dumb fucking body. And I don't know. I'm just trying to insult myself because it's funny. So that's it, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. Read this stuff at the bottom of the screen. Kimberly Berlin's information in case you need it. There's all her information to get a hold of her. There's also the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline and the National Addiction Hotline. So write those numbers down. Keep them close by. Put them on the fridge with a magnet. Put them in your pocket, your wallet, your suitcase, your briefcase, your man purse, your fanny pack. If you're a kangaroo, put them in your pouch, whatever. And just keep them close by. All right, guys, thank you for everything. I love you all. And until next time, salute.